Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. The UN says there will be 11 billion humans by the year 2100, sparking warnings of overpopulation risks famine, disease, conflict, and even complete societal collapse. On the polar opposite side of that debate, though, are the pronatalists, elite Silicon Valley couples who say birth rates are going to fall and we should all breed more to save humanity. Elon Musk is their most famous advocate, and he's one of the smartest guys in the world. The world's richest man, and one of the cleverest, has 10 of his own kids and claims population collapse due to low birth rates is a much bigger risk to civilization than global warming. Meanwhile, down the road in Montecito, that world-renowned expert on everything, Prince Harry, told Vogue in 2019 that he capped the number of kids he's planning with Meghan to help save the world to 2 maximum, he said. He said, I've always thought this place is borrowed, and surely being as intelligent as we all are, at which point I'm afraid he lost me. Anyway, let's move on from Harry's quotes, because once he says that, he loses the argument. One couple at the centre of the pronatalist movement and the backlash to it are Simone and Malcom Collins from Pennsylvania. Currently have 3 children and plan to expand their family to 7, and they join me now from Philadelphia. Well, welcome to both of you. So, Simone, let me start with you, if I may, because you're doing the physical side of this intensive breeding. But it's very interesting because I've listened to Elon Musk about this, and he is absolutely adamant this is the biggest threat, actually, along with artificial intelligence, to mankind, is the reverse of what most people think. It's actually a case of the population levels tumbling to a level which is going to endanger the planet. Explain to people who think that's ridiculous why that is a real situation.
Yes, as soon as societies basically reach a level of modernity where there is prosperity, gender equality, high levels of education, populations start to drop below replacement rate. That's a pretty serious problem if it seems like modernity and all the things that we consider to be good, like women's rights, like prosperity, like good quality of life, seem incompatible with flourishing humans.
It seems wild to me that we live in a world today where not a single country or culture, except for maybe Israel, has found out how to maintain a stable population alongside prosperity, gender equality, and education. This, as like a civilization, is probably something we should start talking about.
And I would say once I heard I was having you guys on as guests, I did read a lot about this, and it seems to be that the graph continues to rise, population, until around the middle of the century, but then it could start to fall precipitously after that.
Yeah, so if you look at fertility rates today, the only countries that really have above repopulation fertility rates are where the average salary is under 4,000 pounds a year or 5,000 USD a year. So you're really only seeing high fertility rates in desperately poor countries right now. If you look at the developed world, the average fertility rate is only around 1.5, and we need 2.1 just to keep stable populations.
Okay, and Simone, I know that you're planning to have 7 children, I think. You've got 3 under your belt, literally. How fast do you want to have the 7? Is the clock ticking here?
Absolutely, yeah. We need to have them basically as quickly spaced as possible. So we're going in for our next round, essentially, next month. And we're going to have more than 7 if we can, basically, until my uterus is forcibly removed in a botched surgery. I'm going to keep going.
I mean, it is. Look, we laugh about it, but there's a very serious point to this. And it's fascinating because the more I've dug into it, after actually Elon Musk said what he said, the more interesting it becomes. And look, it is an argument which is argued vehemently both ways. You know, there are a lot of people who believe the complete opposite, but there are a lot of smart people who think this is a real doomsday thing coming around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to look at how quickly fertility rates can collapse. When I started caring about this, I was working as a venture capital in Korea, and I had to constantly plan out the future of their economy. At South Korea's current fertility rate, for every 100 South Koreans, there will be 6 great-grandchildren. We're looking at a 94% population collapse. Coming back to places like the US and the UK, it felt like traveling 2 decades back in time, like I was in some sort of sci-fi world, and I got a chance to try to raise the flag before it was too late. Because when you hit a place like Korea, where now 60% of the population is above the age of 40, it's probably too late for them to turn the situation around. And then there's all these economic problems. You can say, well, we can solve this with immigration, but then what you're doing is you're making the developed world their economies reliant on keeping Africa poor, or the African countries poor,
Right.
that have these high fertility rates. And that's not a good place to put the world in. And then you talk to the US about this and they go, oh, we can solve this with immigration. But as of 2019, by the UN's own statistics, collectively, South America, Central America, and the Caribbean fell below repopulation rate. So I think people are they're not aware of how far this problem has progressed.
No, and the numbers,
a few countries in the world today.
Yeah, and the numbers are pretty startling, actually. I mean, Simone, the answer clearly is we have to go back to massive gender inequality, right?
No, I mean, the whole reason why we're advocates in this entire space is we really want a future in which there is gender equality. And if we don't take measures now, the future is one with massive gender inequality.
Right.
Basically, the future of feminism requires on more feminist people having kids and raising them in a durable culture that is feminist.
And this is what was so funny.
I'm sorry, I've run out of time. I'm actually going to get you guys back another time because this is a really interesting debate. Honestly, I find this really intriguing, and you're a great guest. So thank you very much for joining me now. And we're going to do a bigger debate on this down the line after our coronation's out the way. But thank you, Simone and Malcolm. I appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're excited to.
We need the royals to keep breeding, and we don't have a monarchy. So at the very least, they've got to keep going.